Ladies and gentlemen, Euro 2024, 9 days away, maybe 8 days away when this video comes out. Excitement is building. England are bookies' favourites. I'm going to use the Telegraph website here, their predictor, and go through who I think is going to take home the trophy, how the groups are going to play out, what we might be looking at in quarterfinals, semi-finals, and so on. Hopefully, you're along for the ride with me here. I'll be honest with you, no prep done for this video. Came across the predictor from the Euros here from the Telegraph, and I just thought I'd do it on the fly with you guys watching me here. So this is going to be very kind of slapdash somewhat. You're going to get my raw reactions and raw predictions. Also means I've got more space to fill because it is just me recording at the moment for this one. So we'll go out Southgate and his England team finally end a long wait for a trophy. We'll have to wait and see. So let's start. Group A: Germany, Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland. I'm not going to mess around if I think that one of the answers is super obvious. And I think with a lot of the first seed ones, I'm going to go with that. So yeah, I think Germany take the first spot. I don't think that's crazy at all. Just got a little bit of a squad list here in front of me. Tony Kroos, right, is bowing out as a Champions League winner, and will also, I'm sure, like to throw Euros into there as well. Florian Wirtz, I think, got Player of the Season in the Bundesliga. Is he going to stay and try and develop again under Xabi Alonso, or is he going to get a huge summer move to a big team, be that in the Premier League, be that in Spain, Paris Saint-Germain? Who knows, right? Kai Havertz, Ilkay Gundogan, Jamal Musiala, Rudiger, Thomas Muller, Sane, Joshua Kimmich, Fulkrug, who's had a great season. Mats Hummels, I don't know if he's going to be involved. Jonathan Tah as well. I believe he's on his way to Bayern Munich. Squad is absolutely stacked. Nagelsmann, a great coach, and I think in a group of this nature, it's very difficult to look past Germany. Moving on to who I think will finish second and obviously have that second kind of guaranteed spot to be able to go in. Um, I think you underestimate Scotland at your own peril. That's what I would always go. That's what I'd always go back to. Is the quality there to go toe to toe with the big boys in Europe? No. But is the passion, is the physicality, is the kind of classic British football there to be able to do it and cause potentially an upset if the ball spins the right way and turns the right way for them on the day? Yeah, I think it absolutely is. So they're always in with the shout. I am going to say that I think Hungary finished bottom. We will get to them. But for me, I just wanted to take a very quick look at the Switzerland squad just to see who would potentially finish in second there for me. Granit Xhaka is still in there. Obviously, a part of that Bayer Leverkusen side. He's probably playing the best football of his career at the moment. Kobel, right, just came off a Champions League final with Borussia Dortmund. And again, I think over the course of the season, he has looked impressive. So it's going to be difficult to get past him. Manuel Akanji is there, Manchester City from the champions. And then again, depending on what form you get these guys in, these can be kind of that kind of B or C tier of elite players across European football. Breland Bolo, Fabian Schär. Who else have we got here? I don't know if Ricardo Rodriguez is still playing top quality football or not, but there is talent that always sneaks its way into a lot of these kind of Central European teams. I'm going to say that Scotland just sneak it in second. Just going to give it to them ever so slightly. I'm going to put Switzerland in third, which does put Hungary last. I did just want to go through the Hungary squad very quickly, just to make sure we're not ruling anybody out. Standout players. Dominic Szoboszlai, of course, has to be kind of the poster child of this squad. And on his day is a very talented player. Again, similarly to, I think, some of the players in the Switzerland squad, is in that kind of BC tier of elite players. I don't know how close he's getting to the World 11 or the bench of the World 11. Apart from that, yeah, Kirkez from Bournemouth, kind of a nice player. Willie Orban at centre back is a nice player as well. And there's definitely a couple of players who might surprise. And again, I think a big part of a lot of these European competitions is some players really are kind of breakout stars, and they become household names because they have good tournaments, and maybe people don't know much about them. I think Hungary are more than capable of that. I've already mentioned a couple of players who do have kind of superior talent, and maybe we'll see that again. I think of somebody like Denmark. I think of Damsgaard, right? From I can't even remember whether that was the World Cup or the Euros, but when he started playing well, people kind of started to take notice, and you know his stock certainly went up. But look, let's move right along here, and let's get into Group B. I just want to get a couple of the squads up here very quickly. Um, First of all, let's look at the two kind of big hitters here for Spain and for Italy. Historically, the two big hitters for Spain and Italy. Spain scored, yeah, look, no surprises here at all. Lamine Yamal, Gavi, Rodri, Nico Williams, Pedri, Dani Carvajal, Kepa, Grimaldo, Dani Olmo, Ansu Fati, Emerick Laporte, Jordi Alba, Pedro Porro. You it's an unbelievably talented team. And one thing Spain will never be short of is immense kind of talent. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I thought maybe it would have been close if Italy were hard to beat, I don't think this will be close. I'm going to take Spain going through top. Second position, though, is the interesting one. Croatia and Italy both have potential to go deep into these competitions. And, like, let's not forget about this, win these competitions as well. Sorry, England fans, I include myself in that, but are capable, very much capable of doing that. Italy are certainly down. Let's put it that way. I think that's more than fair to say that Italy are down at the moment, especially with players that they have unavailable, with injuries that are in place at the moment. You've got the likes of my pal Gianluca Mancini potentially starting games for Italy going into the tournament as well. But let's take a look at a potential starting 11 for them here very quickly. Donnarumma, obviously in goal. Bastoni, Calafiori's had a phenomenal season at Bologna. I hope he'd come back to Roma, but I don't think he will at the moment. Andrea Cambiaso for Juventus, Matteo Darmian for Inter as well, Di Lorenzo, Fede Di Marco, Mancini, as I mentioned, Jorginho, Barella, Cristante, Fagioli, Frattesi, my pal Lorenzo Pellegrini, Fede Chiesa, Raspadori, El Shaarawy, and obviously very, very hot at the moment, Gianluca Scamacca. So again, I think you're a fool to underestimate Italy because they are exactly the kind of team that keeps it very, very close and then beats you 1-0, right? Or beats you 2-1 in a game that they certainly don't deserve to win. So I don't think that's necessarily the smartest play ever. But let's have a quick comparison here to what Croatia are working with at the moment. Luka Modric, Dominik Livakovic, Josko Gvardiol, Kovacic, Marcelo Brozovic, Kramaric, Pasalic. Yeah, kind of. I think if you if there's any player ending in IC, probably going to be a Croatian player. Vlasic, Jaka, Josip Sutalo, Brekalo. Again, Croatia are always very talented. And I think the one thing for me that stands out with Croatia, there is the odd, truly, truly elite player that does stick out to you. Luka Modric, despite the age and everything, is still playing top tier football. I'm going to say it's tournament football. So I'm going to go with Italy in second. I'm going to say that I think all three of these teams probably beat Albania, but I think Italy are going to be hard to break down against Spain, hard to break down against Croatia. And I can just see them taking points, whether it's a draw or whether it's just sneaking a win off one of these teams. So I'm just going to go with Italy in second, Croatia in third, and sorry, whipping boys a little bit of Albania in last place there. Moving over to Group C. Again, England got super lucky. Let's just call it what it is. England go through top. They're favourites for a reason. Again, we'll see later in my predictions whether I think they're going to be going the whole way or not. But I just think that you can't look past England, not because England are just far better than any other team. They're in a group with Serbia, Denmark, and Slovenia. They got super lucky. There's no other way to say it. But let's look at second and let's look at third going into this one as well because it is interesting. Denmark, again, a lot of these European teams, you think, small teams, how many players can they really have? You're always kind of surprised with who they've got potentially there available for them as well. Denmark is a great example of that. Rasmus Højlund up top is a serious threat and I think a serious player. Manchester United, I think, as much as the fee was very high, based on his age and his probable contribution, I think that's going to be seen historically as a fantastic signing for them, especially with the striker market at the moment. Midfield in there behind, I mentioned Damsgaard earlier in this video. You've got people like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg right in there as well. I know he's not probably played as much football as he's like. Same with Christian Eriksen, not maybe played as much football as he'd like. Damsgaard, I've already mentioned. I just want to kind of consult my phone here and make sure that I'm not missing anybody. Simon Kjær at the back, Kasper Schmeichel, Andreas Christensen, Martin Braithwaite, Casper Dolberg, um, Matt O'Reilly apparently for Celtic. I don't know if that's right. Yannick Vestergaard, Thomas Delaney, Philip Billing, Lindstrom, Joachim Anderson. Look, guys, there's a couple of players knocking around there. I don't think that that can be hated. And again, it's a team that if they can be rigid, if they can be hard to beat, they do have players who can cause damage, even to a team like England. So we're not gonna rule out Denmark in that second spot. Now, this is my Achilles heel of football analysis. I often do this. I will look at the Serbia squad going into tournaments, and I will say, oh, well, I mean, look at that. They're going to win the whole tournament because I have a soft spot for players from this kind of region. And again, straight off the bat, Alexander Mitrovic, love. Dusan Vlahovic, love. Tadic, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, arguably still my favorite player, even though he's playing in, I think, Saudi Arabia at the moment. His brother, Vanya Milinkovic-Savic, Luka Jovic, Gudel, Nikola Milenkovic, Filip Kostic is in there as well. Who else have we got? Sasa Lukic, Maksimovic, Marko Grujic, Nastasic still knocking around in there as well. Look, again, they've got the attacking players who can cause you damage. The worry for them is always going to be at the back. And I bring this up all the time just because I think it's kind of fun trivia to have around. But I remember the back line from back in the day. Kolarov at left back, Ivanovic at right back, Subotic and Nemanja Vidic in the middle. Oh my goodness gracious me. Defensively, good luck getting past that. You're going to have a rough day and probably come off the field with some bruises. Serbia now seems to be kind of top heavy. They went from this defensively very, very strong team, also screening in front the likes of Nemanja Matic, somebody to talk about as well. Um, it seems to be less that way now. A lot more weighted in strikers. I'd say that's their strongest area of the pitch, and then a couple of kind of attacking midfielders in there and wide players giving them some talent as well. I just think while it might be fun to watch them play because the players available, I don't think they're going to be strong enough to be able to do it. I'm going to go Denmark in second. I'm going to go Serbia third, and I'm going to go Slovenia fourth. I do just want to touch on Slovenia, and I know that we haven't, had a kind of a deep dive into England yet, but I think we're going to get there because again, I think to me, maybe I'm cursing the team, but that should be England's. This should be the easiest group to win if you're England. So again, let's look at Slovenia. Benjamin Sesko, somebody who can cause problems. Oblak, Ilicic, again, you start getting down the list and names start becoming less and less noticeable. Zan Shelar, who was previously or may even still be in the under 23s for Roma. Again, it's a little thin there for the Slovenia team, so I am happy with them in fourth position. Right, let's take a quick look at Group D. Again, obvious reasons. France are going in first. Again, I mentioned Group C is probably England the easiest one to win. I think Group D have got a serious chance for France as well to be able to make their way into this group through this group very, very easily as well. Um, I think as much as I'd like to, because of Poland historically, the likes of Lewandowski being able to single-handedly, just score a hat trick and be able to have Poland make it through these kinds of competitions. I just don't think that's where we are anymore. He's still playing at a high level, but especially based on his age, I don't think you can put the whole nation's hopes on him anymore. Chesney's still in there, Zalewski, Zielinski, Christoph Piatek still in there, Milik, Jakub Kivior, Mati Cash, of course, as well, needs a shout out as well. But again, like with a lot of these players, Krakowiak, Jan Bednarak, Kamil Grosicki, some players just, it starts to become more and more thin the further you go down. The Holland squad, I'll be honest with you, I don't know who's actually making the squad at the moment. So I'm going to just quickly bring that up here very quickly. Again, we know who the familiar faces are historically, but let's see who we're working with at the moment. So Verbruggen at Brighton, Flecken from Brentford, Van Dijk, Stefan de Vrij, Van der Ven, who again, I think his ceiling is unbelievably high at the moment. Daley Blind, unbelievable season at Girona. Mattis de Ligt, Ake, Denzel Dumfries, Jeremy Frimpong, again a contender for Player of the Season in the Bundesliga by Leverkusen. Koopmeiners, Atalanta, again unbelievable job. Gasperini deserves a lot of credit, but a nice player as well. Gravenberch, Frankie de Jong, Reinders at Milan, Xavi Simons from Leipzig, I believe, on loan from Paris Saint-Germain. Genie Wijnaldum still makes the squad. Bergwijn, Memphis Depay, Brian Broby, Weghorst, and Cody Gakpo in there. And Daniel Marlin as well has had some plaudits over the years as well. So again, the Holland squad, there's a bit of depth. There's some notoriety and some players there. I am going to just stick Holland in second position there. Now, Austria, again, it's another one of these nations that you do just have to look at and wonder, didn't realize he was Austrian. That's actually not a bad team that they've got themselves together. So let's bring that up here very quickly. Again, standout names as always: David Alaba, Arnautovic, Marcel Sabitzer, Konrad Laimer, Christoph Baumgartner. Again, similar to Denmark in many ways, there's a couple of guys who can kind of win you games, but it's not overly outstanding relative to what the other teams have, especially in terms of their depth as well. I'm going to put Poland in second, and I'll stick Austria in last position there as well. Group E, again, obvious reasons, similarly to Group D and Group C, I don't think there's too much of a debate here. I'm going to put Belgium through first. They're massive disappointments year on year with the quality of the squad they've had over the last 10 years or so. It's very, very difficult for me to say anything about underachievers when you've got the likes of Vincent Company at the back there. You had Alderweireld and Vertonghen there, the partnership at Spurs and all that for the longest time as well. Yeah, Vincent Company, who I mentioned. Midfield, you've got this just collection of fantastic midfielders who really cover all bases. Raja Nangolan over the years has been unbelievable. The likes of an Axel Witsel, Moussa Dembele, who obviously gets a lot of credit, especially on the internet, and again, deservedly so. Unbelievably talented player. Eden Hazard, Romelu Lukaku, Michy Batshuayi historically as well. Belgium unbelievably underperformed, but again, I think compared to Slovakia, compared to Romania, and compared to Ukraine, I'm just going to say we'll play it safe and we'll go for Belgium. Group stages shouldn't be a problem. Get to knockouts, we'll have to see, and we'll kind of go from there. But look, let's touch on some of these other squads and give a couple of their players a little bit of credit as and when they deserve it. Right, Marek Hamšík, again, don't know if he's still necessarily in the squad, but unbelievably talented player and a real nostalgia pick for me. Milan Skriniar, of course, Dubravka, the goalkeeper, Lobotka in midfield as well. Um, Again, really kind of falls off there after a little while, so pretty thin on the ground there from Slovakia. Let's take a look at Romania. Radu Dragusin, there it is. It's that centre back room for Spurs that's been performing so well. And I think for the future, this is the best centre back pairings, maybe outside of Arsenal with Saliba and Gabriel at centre back, likes of Mickey van der Ven, Dragusin, unbelievable pickup from them. Yanitagi, Stanshu, again starts looking pretty thin on the ground pretty early. Oh, and then we go to the Ukraine team. Again, similarly to what it's been before, we can look at a handful of players and say, wow, talent, we know what they're about. Mihailo Mudryk, Yarmolenko, Zinchenko, Andriy Lunin, who's had such a kind of good time at Real Madrid so far this off-season as well. Shankov as well, Sudakov, Vitaly Mikalenko as well, who I think we forget about. The likes of Conor Blianka, again, don't know if he's still playing. Taras Stepanenko has been a great player for a long time as well. Again, starts to get a little thin on the ground. This is a hard one to pick. Um, I'm going to say Ukraine can get it done. I'm going to put Ukraine in at second, Slovakia, and then Romania for Group E. Strange group, that one. I don't know how many viewers are going to be watching the Group E games as and when they show up. Right, Group F. Let's not mess around. Similar to Group C, similar to Group D, similar to Group E as well, and Group A probably. Portugal, I mean, all we need to do is go through their starting 11. Unbelievable. They're a classic paper team, though, is what I'll always say. I know they've had success in international tournaments in the past, right? especially very recently. But what I'll say as well, this Portugal team, there's some new blood coming through. So we're not necessarily just relying on the old guard all the time now. There's a couple of players who've really come to the fore who are really demanding starting positions in this Portugal team, and we're potentially dealing with kind of a different animal here. Again, dark horse is a funny term because for me, a dark horse should be somebody outside of like the top eight favorites. Like, for me, my joke is that Serbia are always my dark horse team because there's no chance of them winning it, surely. But there's players in there where you go, if they all play really well, I'm not going to rule it out. Portugal are one of those teams where it's like, yeah, it's my dark horse. It's like, well, Cristiano Ronaldo, João Neves, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, um, João Cancelo, Ruben Diaz, Rafael Guerrero, you start kind of going down the list. You're like, how the hell are these guys possibly considered dark horses? Anyway, enough about Portugal. We'll be talking about them much later as well. Then just moving forward as well, I'm going to have Georgia in last, despite how good Kvaratskhelia might be. I just want to take a look at the Turkey squads that they have available for the tournament and the Czech squads as well, just to give an idea of where they're at. Arda Güler, Yildiz, Çalhanoğlu, Man Enes Ünal, Ozan Kabak, Altay Bayındır in goal. I don't know if he starts though, to be fair, as the starting goalkeeper for them. Zeki Çelik, Demiral, Yilmaz, Suyuncu, eh, Cengiz Under might still be in there with a shout as well. Not overwhelmed with confidence, although there is a little bit more depth there than I thought there might have been, potentially for their starting 11 and on the bench. Moving to the Czech Republic, Patrick Schick, Suchek, Adam Hlužek, Kufal, Mate Kovar, man, and then kind of falls off a little bit. I'm going to go Czech Republic 2, Turkey 3, Georgia number 4. So that's my group stage look for these teams. Again, I don't think there's any overly shocking outcomes there. Again, especially for the winner of each group, I'd be amazed if anybody didn't have this kind of starting six that you've got here of Germany, Spain, England, France, Belgium, Portugal. They are the powerhouses. They're there for a reason. Only teams I'm looking at that I might be a little worried about, again, despite how good Spain are and the talent they have available to them, guys, Group B, Italy, Croatia can easily show up and potentially knock Spain down, easily get some, especially a team like Italy, getting a draw or potentially snagging or, a victory by one goal against Spain. That's certainly doable. Um, Outside of that, I think it's going to be relatively routine for a lot of the other groups. So slightly more fun for this Euros is obviously the amount of third place teams that will then potentially go forward to the next round. I believe it's four of them. So let's take a look at how we think these guys are going to do. So first of all, I think we need to massively give credit where credit's due to a team like Croatia, who I think you've got to say are probably unlucky to be finishing third in a group of that nature. So I'm going to say that they'll be first out of the third place teams. Again, I can see that group running very, very close. After that, I think Switzerland had the ability to pick up points against Scotland and Hungary. Poland, Turkey can be tough to play against. Obviously, I'm going to think about Serbia as well. Let's go Switzerland next. I think that's more than fair. Can Poland beat Holland or drag some points off them? They can. Slovakia, Turkey. Man, it's tricky. Um, oh my God, I'm wasting so much time. Um, can Slovakia? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Slovakia just because it is a weak group apart from Belgium, and Belgium can let the side down. So again, Slovakia drawing against Belgium, I'm not gonna rule that out. So let's go Slovakia in there next, because again, I think they can pick up points from Romania, from potentially from Ukraine as well. Serbia, Poland, Turkey. Poland does, those are tough. I think Poland might be last. I'm going to go Serbia, Turkey. then yeah, Poland would be in last place there. That's harsh on Poland. But I do have to say, oh good, now I've got this little free trial screen coming out. Let me close that down here a little bit. Um, I know that's harsh on Poland, but I'll be honest with you, you're not getting anything from France. Holland is going to be tough, and Austria it's going to be tough. That is a pretty tough group, generally speaking. Turkey as well, Czech Republic, Georgia. I know that might be kind of tricky. I just have a little bit more faith in Serbia being able to potentially take points from Slovenia or Denmark. That's all. Okay, so after being, I feel like I've been scammed into using the Telegraph subscription system. I've started my free trial, which will be being cancelled soonly after this video has come out. Anyway, getting back onto the round of 16, Germany have to go through against Denmark. That's an easy, easy pick for me. Scotland, Italy, we have to go for the history. Spain, we have to go for the history. England, Slovakia is easy. Portugal, Serbia is easy. Holland, Ukraine is easy. Belgium, Croatia is interesting. And again, what do we know about Belgium is they usually let the side down. So I'm going to stick with Croatia going through this one because I think there's enough about that team and they're going to be a pain in the neck to potentially beat. So I am going to go with Croatia, probably as the odds would suggest, maybe upsetting Belgium in that one. France, Czech Republic is a no-brainer on that one. Quarterfinals. Man, don't these look good. Right. Germany, Spain. Really interesting matchup. Very interesting matchup. The one thing we need to remind ourselves is home advantage and how much of an impact that has on a team's success. Spain are a talented team. I do think that there's a couple of players who still aren't quite at it at the level required to win a national trophy. I think if we'd have seen a fantastic injury-free season from Pedri, Gavi, these kinds of guys, then we might be thinking about a different proposition. But I just think it's impossible to look past Tony Kroos in his last game, Florian Wirtz in the form he's had, the likes of Jamal Musiala, um, uh, Muller, Sane, Serge Gnabry, all these kinds of players being available. Defense looks relatively strong. Again, defensively, I think they're going to be up to it as well. I've got to take Germany. I think that'll be a fantastic game, and I think Germany will get it by the skin of their teeth, but the home advantage will play a huge part. Portugal beat Holland. I think that's pretty straightforward. Croatia, France. France too good. France are going through. England, Italy. This is the revenge game for me. It's quarterfinals. It's not a semi-final or a final. So kind of a right. If there's going to be a revenge game for England, it would be at a stage like this. I'm going to say that England actually get it done against Italy in that one there. Semi-finals. Man, have we got the big hitters coming in here, right? Germany, Portugal. Tricky. I'm still yet to have full belief and full faith that that Portugal team on paper has what it takes on the field itself. Germany, home advantage. Some of the players coming into this tournament are super, super hot, especially out wide. I think the one thing that we give Portugal credit for in terms of looking at their squad is the offensive ability of their fullbacks, right? And what they're going to be potentially capable of doing going forward. Well, where do we know Germany are very, very strong? It's out wide. So we're going to have to look at the likes of maybe a Rafael Guerrero, maybe a João Cancelo, these kinds of players being more disciplined, being stronger, and where they can play and being more disciplined, one-on-one defending, not their strongest suit. And then do they overcommit? Then there's more space, especially with Germany at home. I'm taking Germany against Portugal. France, England. Those of you who've been watching me for a while, following me for a while, interacting with me on social media, internet, whatever, you'll know my thoughts on this England squad. You'll know my thoughts on Gareth Southgate, and you'll know my thoughts on what I think of this France team as well. Guys, this France team are not just like, career-ending juggernaut team. The talent is unbelievable. I mean, all you have to do is look at the players who aren't making the France squad, and you start realizing the proposition that you're dealing with. But the way that Deschamps has them playing, defensively, they're very good. Very, very good. Hard to break down. And then they're absolutely devastating on the break. I think the one thing we know about these kind of big tournaments is you can just have this kind of splurge of offensive play, but you're going to get unstuck at one point throughout the game. One thing we do know is if you keep these things tight and you play in big, big moments, especially against the big teams, and you've got the players who can deliver, calm under pressure, you don't mind going to penalties if you have to. I think that's what France are capable of, and that's something that France can do. Um, England again, I do think that position by position, England may have the better squad, may have the better performing players over the course of the season, maybe some less injuries in there as well. And I think this is England's best shot at a Euros maybe that we've ever had, and the odds would suggest that. The one thing I've always been comfortable with, and maybe this speaks to the English mentality, I don't mind going out to France. I think France are that good. I'd be disappointed if England were to go out to Germany, even if it's their tournament at home and the players that they have. If England went out to Portugal, I'd still be disappointed. Going out to this France team, I kind of don't mind it. Harry Maguire and John Stones defending against Kylian Mbappe, Kieran Trippier on the left side going against somebody like Ousmane Dembele, who again there's a lot of criticism there, but with a Chamonix, with a Camavinga, with the defence that they've got available to them, even the offensive pressure that they can have from fullback in the likes of a Theo Hernandez or somebody of that nature, this France squad are a difficult opponent, and it hurts me. But I think France, if they come up against England, England score early, we go mad, we think we're going to do it, and then France win 2-1. That's just the way I see it happening. And again, maybe that's me, cynical, skeptical Englishman, but I've seen it before. And I think if we get to this kind of a stage, especially against this opponent, it's something I can live with. France are better than England at the moment, in my opinion. The final, Germany, France. Oh my goodness. Bayer Leverkusen, the season that they've had, Borussia Dortmund making it to the Champions League final. German football seems to be making a huge comeback, but I'm afraid the dominant team of this era and the team that I'm picking to do it all, the team that pushed Argentina right to the very end only a couple of years before, is France. Look, I think there'll be immense pressure on Germany, and I think that there'll be a lot for Germany to go into it thinking, "Oh, we can do this." But I just think, when we properly get down to it, this France team are just built a little different at the moment. And again, all you need to do is look at the players for France who don't make the starting 11, and also some of the France players who don't even make the squad itself to know how strong this outfit is. Yes, there's jokes about the African history for some of the players, West African history, they're French and all this kind of stuff. But again, guys, this is the way the representation works. England make use of kind of non-English representation as well, happens a hell of a lot as well. And I just think France are a different breed. Guys, I know that was a little slapdash and a little quick. You just got all my thoughts kind of straight off the top there. Who do you have winning Euro 2024? Can England do it? What did you think of my semi-finals? What did you think of my quarterfinals? Am I right on the round of 16? Where do you have me in the group stages? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Get your comments down below. Would love to hear from you. Drop a like on the video if you like what you've seen. James and I were hungry for that next step for the channel. We're trying to get up to the 5,000 and 10,000 mark for our subscribers. So if you hit that subscribe button, it'd mean a hell of a lot to me and James. And until next time, I will see you.